In the 30 years prior to 2010, every 14 months we had a fatality at this operation. At that point, I realized that the stakes were really high and we needed some real serious intervention. And that's where I reached out to ERM for them to come and do a brand new SSAP. By the time that ERM got involved with RBM, they were already doing work for Rio Tinto on other sites as part of a 5-year safety strategy that was being implemented. Now, this whole strategy was based around the SSAP, or Site Safety Acceleration Process. So right at the beginning of the process, we appointed 15 change agents that was going to work on this. With the group of 15, we made sure that they covered all levels of leadership in the organization, all functions. I also made sure that it was gender equal, 50-50%, so that we can get a proper view of what's going on in the business. And very importantly, we also included the contractors. So this was now a joint team between ERM and RBM, facilitated by ERM, that then took us through this SSAP diagnostic process. And it was quite shocking, some of the results that came out in the group. There was quite a silence that settled in the room until one of the union leaders then said, "That feedback is not correct. It is absolutely correct." And that's where we knew, we pretty much have nailed this one, identifying what needs to be done next. So we took a full day and got about 100 of our supervisors together in one room and started just to listen to what they had to say. Everybody wasn't happy with what was said, but I think what did happen is everybody felt that we were listening. And that started a journey of growing belief in the leadership team itself. That prompted us into a second session, this time with females only, because of the findings from our intervention. This time we had about 200 females in the room. This session was a bit tougher in the sense that we really needed ERM to also facilitate the session for us. Women really felt more comfortable eventually to raise more of the things they were experiencing, the unequal workplace where they are exposed to harassment, bullying, belittlement. And then what was great about this whole process, we then co-designed with our employees, with ERM, how we're going to fix it and make it better for everyone. 3 years later is a very pleasing time to talk about, given where we were back in 2018, 2019. So come 2022, RBM gets the Rio Tinto Award for the best improved safety site across the group. This is really one of the most prestigious awards you can get in Rio Tinto. In my senior leadership team now, 50% female representation. We are continuing to remove, roadblocks from female employees. We continue to improve facilities for them. Now in 2022, one of our contractors have been appointed and announced as safety-wise the best contractor in the entire Rio Tinto group. RBM has now been fatality-free for more than 5 years. Unfortunately, the work is not done. So we continue to work on our journey. And I must say, one of the key conclusions for us is that this type of work is always more complex than you think. There's no single one silver bullet that you can use. And therefore, you have to dive deeper to get to the real underlying issues and the complexity that sits there. And I am really pleased around the support we got from ERM, from senior leaders all the way down. You have to be involved and get some professional help in the process.
ERM, of course, has known and worked with Rio Tinto for a very long time, like we are 20 years. But my first involvement, and as far as I understand, when we first really got engaged on safety, was in 2009. So we were asked to come up with some fresh ideas on the safety strategy. It was a fascinating piece of work. One of the things we did was actually turn over a number of the industry standard sort of assumptions around how safety worked and helped Rio Tinto look at their global asset portfolio through a different lens. As a result, we identified a number of assets that were higher risk and higher opportunity for improvement than they had previously recognized. But another centerpiece of the strategy development, having talked to a lot of the MDs and asset GMs around the business, was that most of those people were very committed to safety and trying to make things better. They were feeling they had also hit a plateau and looking for advice and support to actually create the change they actually wanted to achieve. And on the back of that, the centerpiece of the new 5-year safety strategy was what came to be known as the Site Safety Acceleration Process. By the end of the co-design, they've not only developed solutions that both groups agree on would be effective, they've actually learnt how to work much more effectively together. And it's that prototype of the organization which reaches a critical mass at the end of the co-design, and when the organization and the leadership team then take that out and start to implement the findings and solutions of the work streams, it's the underlying new impetus that creates the step change in the trajectory of improvement in the business. And it's that momentum that allows the organization and the leadership team to take their business to a whole new level of performance. In 2022, RBM had been awarded the CEO's Safety Award. When we think about the number of businesses in Rio Tinto that we've worked with, and we've been to a very large proportion of their high-risk businesses around the world. 6 of those businesses in the 18 months, 2 years following our work with those businesses went on to be awarded the annual CEO's Safety Award.